Hey, what's up everybody? In this video tutorial, we're going to be taking a look at how to create the angled holes for the cab of the helicopter reverse engineering project. So when we take a look at our cab, we can see that we have holes that are drilled into this, but the thing is, in the overall assembly, we're going to be seeing, if I can get to it, there we go. We're going to be seeing how these legs here are going to be going into the body at an angle, but then they're also going to be going into the skids at an angle, and we want to make sure that the body, okay, is going to be parallel to the ground as well as the skids. So that means we're going to have to make sure we have the right sort of geometry and measurements for these angled holes that go into the cab and the actual skids themselves. So with that being said, let's just run back here and find our cab. Okay, so I have created the cab up until this point. We can see that there are no angled holes into the bottom. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip this over, take a look at this just like so. And what I'm going to do is create a work plane. And the type of work plane we're going to be creating is going to be a line angle work plane. So I'm going to be picking on this edge. All right, it can now tell us that basically we're looking at a particular type of angle. So if I type in 17 and hit enter, okay, we can see that's going into the wrong direction. But if I flip it, we can now see that that's going to be 17 degrees up in this direction, and that's what we want. Okay, so we want these holes to be angled out. Okay, so now we have that, we can green check it. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a sketch. Okay, on this plane right here, I'm going to draw my first hole, and that needs to have a diameter of 0.18. And now tracking off the center point here, I'm going to pull this over, draw my second hole. That also needs to have a diameter of 0.18. Okay, and now I can go ahead and start getting my dimensions correct. So I'm going to first dimension, let's say from this edge to this guy right here. Okay, that's going to be a distance over a 0.47. Okay, and now I can go ahead and dimension from this edge here to this center point. See if I can get it. Here we go. And that's going to be a total distance over, looks like of 1.59. Okay, so we have that correct. Now I'm going to dimension from center point to edge and pull this out. And that needs to be approximately, looks like 0.251. This isn't going to be perfect, but we're going to be awfully close. All right. And basically now we can see that our holes are in the correct place. Now, since we're talking about that distance of 0.251 off of this edge, we can see there is a little bit of a gap there, and we might have to make up for that in the end, but we'll get it awfully close. Okay, so we have our sketches in the right location, so I'm going to go ahead and green check it. Now I'm going to be using extrude. I'm going to pick on this profile and this profile. It needs to be a remove. Make sure it's going into the correct direction. And the dimensions I have here in front of me is indicating that that is a hole drilled to a depth of 0.291. So I'm just going to go ahead and just put in like 0.3. I'm going to go ahead and green check it. And now we can see that those holes are drilled in. Just remember that this doesn't look, really correct when you get to the assembly. You can deepen that or make that hole a little bit more shallow. Okay, so I'm going to come in and turn off this plane here, just kind of clean things up. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to mirror those holes that I've just drilled, okay, onto the other side. All right, so in order to do that, I'm going to need to know a little bit of information like, like how far this distance is from here to here. And we can see that that's 1.37. Okay, so with that in mind, I'm going to come in here and create a plane. Okay, that's going to be an offset, so I'm going to flip the direction. And now I'm going to tell it I want it to be 1.37 divided by 2. I'm going to hit enter, and now we can see how that work plane goes directly down the center of it, and it's splitting it in half. I can now use mirror, but when I go to mirror, I need to make sure to switch this from a part mirror to a feature mirror. And now all I have to do is come in here and grab one of those extrusions. We can see if the other one goes along with it. And now I can pick the red mirror plane box, pick on the mirror the work plane that's going down through the center of it. It's now going to be mirroring that over to the other side. So we should have angled holes that are leaning to the outside of the body. Okay, and those are at the same angle that we made the holes on the skids at 17 degrees. So everything should be matching up. Okay, so there you go. That's how to create the angled holes that go into the cab of your helicopter reverse engineering project.